Oh, yeah. Hello, everybody. Yes, it's Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. How you doing? Hope you're having a good Friday so far. Not a good Friday, but a good Friday, because Good Friday was a while back. Anyway, I made it in the nick of time to even start a stream today. So here we are, a little bit late on this beautiful Friday. Bring back the funk. Yes, here we go. I'll turn that up. I turned it down a little too much, didn't I? There, how's that? We might have to have that go all day. So yeah. Let's get it started. Johnny, please play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Oh, yeah. Shall we begin? Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on this Funky Friday. I know it's a little loud, but I don't care. It's Friday. It's Funky Friday. We must appreciate the funk, and especially this funk, because like Somnambule Nation says, it's time to dim the lights and savor the moment. So anyway, all right, enough of that. So, how y'all doing today? Happy Friday. Hope you all have good plans for the weekend or something. I don't know. Some of you work on the weekend, so I don't know what the weekend is for everybody else. It is my weekend. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to do some gardening. It's Mother's Day. By the way, I'm reminding you now, it's Mother's Day. Okay? If you have a relationship with your mother, or even if you don't have the best relationship with your mother, it doesn't matter. She brought you into the world, and she didn't take you out before it could happen. So just appreciate your mother. Do something nice. Say hi. And in fact, if you are related to a mother, if you have a sister who is a mother, or a brother who's a mother. Oh boy, I didn't mean to go there. Anyway, or a relative, whatever. Just give everyone a happy Mother's Day and say something or do something nice for them. So anyway, so let's say good morning and get this thing going, because I got quite a few things to touch on today. Oh boy, there's why is that over there? Then it's the wrong spot. And I have people to thank. So let's say good morning. First in the chat over on Rumble would be Advocatus Dabbly, who gets the bell. Also, good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation. And that's it. That's it for the folks on Rumble. That's all the Rumble people. Let's try the YouTube people. Let's scroll up and see who made it. Somnambule Nation, of course, is first also on YouTube. Also, good morning to Somnambule Nation. I've already said that. Hey, Black Hebrew Israelites in the house. Right. Nice to see you. Also, Special Can Acid, Simon Wolfwood, Jimmy Das Hotep's Oops, I almost said that one twice. I decided to get on acid. Unacceptable views. Lord Stanhope's in the house. Scribe Light, Dog Thrapple. And Swirly's in the house. Good morning. Hey, JB, what's up? Good morning also, Simon Wilkins. Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost, also known as Tyre Alexander. And Tack Alpaca's in the house. Good morning, Tex AG007. And, let's see, someone else is down here. Anna Lynn's in the house. Septus Wolf is in the house. People are dropping in slowly but surely, but you can help make that happen, make more people show up if you share this stream on a regular basis. Every once in a while we get a new person just because you invited them, and that is always copacetic. I guess that's not really the right word to use, but I'm going to say it anyway. Good morning. Oh, by the way, and thank you, by the way, people who've already shared the stream this morning. Somnambule Nation, Jimmy Das Hotep, Scribe Light, Simon Wolfwood are all Johnny on the spot. So thank you very much for sharing the show. I'm glad that all of you have made it so far, and hopefully some more people will see that we're here because you shared the show. Thank you. Good morning, Bale and Bobby. Nice to see you back. It's always a pleasure when you're here. So I'm gonna get into it right away today because, like I said, there's a lot of big things going on, and the top news actually this morning. Well, I don't know if it's the top news, but it seems to be. It's certainly on the minds of a lot of people. The young man who subdued another man on a subway, and the man who was subdued subsequently passed away. Daniel, what's his name? Daniel Pernny is being charged. I know I'm really getting right into it. I'm going right into what's happening because I didn't really do any. I didn't do anything that's trending right now. This is probably trending as we speak. Good morning, Those Ain't Real Do, and Reaccion Puerto Rico, you lovely island. And Chicago Mike, good morning. Okay, so here we go. Daniel Pernny. Now, it's interesting. The way they headline this tells you what they want to happen. So if you look at the AP, and AP tends to have a lot of, I don't want to say that's liberal bias, but there's definitely a slant to the AP that most of the AP writers do. Their headline is "Man Who Chokes and New York City Subway rider to Death Will Face a Manslaughter Charge," prosecutors say. So let's look at what's supposedly the straight news AP says. Okay, now, and again, like I've said before, I can understand where a manslaughter charge probably is going to happen in this case, just because sometimes if you do something like this and a person dies, you are often liable for it, unless it can be considered a clear case of self-defense, which it's hard to say on this one. It doesn't seem like it would be, but you don't know what the factors are, and there's never really been a full video of this entire event, how it happened anyway, but except the guy came up from behind. Anyway, let me just read their article and we'll talk about it that way. Manhattan prosecutors said Thursday that they will bring criminal charges against a man who used a fatal chokehold on an unruly passenger aboard a New York City subway train, a death that stirred outrage and debates about the response to mental illness in the nation's largest transit system. Okay. That's an interesting way to read it. Now, yes, I'm going to wait. I'm going to read some more first. If Pakistan erupts in civil war, I will no longer get phone calls about my Microsoft key being locked. Okay, I don't know why I even read the chat right now. Are they charging the two guys who helped him? Well, we'll get to that. I don't know yet. I don't know. Here we go. Daniel Pernny, a 24-year-old U.S. Marine Corps veteran, will be arrested and face a charge of second-degree manslaughter, which could carry a jail term of up to 15 years. Quote, "We cannot provide any information until he has been arraigned in Manhattan Criminal Court, which we expect to take place tomorrow," the Manhattan District Attorney said. In a statement, the charges come nearly 2 weeks after Pernny pinned fellow subway rider Jordan Neely, 30, to the floor of a subway car and put him in a chokehold that lasted for several minutes. did it last for several minutes? I don't think it lasted for several minutes. The whole incident lasted for several minutes, but I don't think he was in the chokehold. Whatever. The guy died, and it's probably a result of the chokehold, and it's appropriate to charge him with manslaughter, I believe, at least in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of other opinions. We can keep going. According to a freelance journalist who witnessed the struggle, Neely, who is black... Let's make sure. I'm surprised they haven't said that Daniel Perry is a white U.S. Marine Corps veteran, but I'm sure other outlets will find a way to weasel that one in there. Neely, who is black, is irrelevant in some ways. Although some people say he was lynched. He was lynched because he was black. But no, there's been enough subway incidents that I don't think he was being lynched. I think the guy really thought he was helping other people from someone who's about to attack them. Anyway, Neely, who is witnessed the struggle, Neely, who is black, had been screaming and begging for money aboard the train prior to the takedown, but had not physically attacked anyone. Attorneys for Perry. Oh, here it is. Attorneys for Perry, who is white.
You're fucking a white male!
Did not immediately respond to a request for comment. They previously said their client, along with two other writers who helped restrain Neely, had acted in self-defense. Okay, the two other writers are mentioned. Daniel never attempted to harm Mr. Neely and could not have foreseen his ultimate untimely death. They said in a statement, a former subway performer known for his... they're going to go through the hagiography. A former subway performer known for his spot-on Michael Jackson impression, Neely struggled in recent years with homelessness and worsening mental illness, friends said. So we're getting... See, this is AP stories. They're shading this. And again, I think the appropriate charge is manslaughter for this, a low-degree manslaughter. It was unintentional, but you do happen to it. But they're painting this picture now. That's what they're doing. Had recently... Oh, wait a minute. Neely struggled for recent years with homelessness and worsening mental illness. Friends said he'd been arrested several times and had recently pleaded guilty to assaulting a 67-year-old woman in 2021 as she left the subway station. After pleading guilty, he missed the court date, leading to a warrant for his arrest that was still active at the time of his death. I'm surprised they put that in there. That's fascinating. Normally, they would not put anything about his history. But he does have a history. But see, the problem is that talking about his history, Perry would have had no knowledge of that. So, I mean, clearly that's not going to be used as a factor in court. So I don't know why they put it in the AP article, but that's what a lot of people have been talking about. His death has divided some in New York and beyond, triggering intense debates and protests. Left-leaning advocates describe the killing as an act of racist vigilantism, invoking comparisons to the infamous subway shooting carried out by Bernie Getz against 4 teenagers in 1984. Others, including Merrick Adams, have urged caution, calling on New Yorkers to wait for the full facts in its investigation. They note that not much is still known about what precipitated the chokehold. As the investigation has continued, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has faced pressure to make an arrest. Perry was questioned by police in the hours after Neely died, but released without charges. A second-degree manslaughter charge in New York will require a jury to find that a person has engaged in reckless conduct that creates an unjustifiable risk of death and then consciously disregards that risk. The law also requires that conduct to be a gross deviation from how a reasonable person would act in a similar situation. So that's interesting. I'm impressed here by the balance in an AP article. Usually they'll almost act like advocates, but they've given a lot of pretty much full information. Neely was a smooth criminal. Oh, stop it. Ding 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 ding. Ah, ding 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 ding. Good morning, Shrapnel. What's up? I see you in the chat. What's going on? So that's it. I'm surprisingly balanced. I still, I always laugh though. The fact that anytime there's a case like this, if there's if they want to exacerbate the racial aspects of it, they'll certainly mention the race of both people in the article. Good morning, Maddie, too. What's up? So let's look at a more local version of this. This is Channel 4 New York. Now, notice the difference in the headline, though. 24-year-old Marine to be charged with manslaughter of Jordan Neely chokehold death, according to the DA, versus man who choked subway and New York City subway rider to death will face manslaughter charge. That's more of a, what do you call it? My brain started. I did a Joe Biden. I'm sorry. That's definitely a more harsh headline or active headline versus 20-year-old man to be charged with manslaughter. Anyway, let's see. Did they use the AP? Nope. They use their own. Oh, no, it's the same writers. It's the same writers. No, it's not. Different writers. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see how they write it. 24-year-old Marine seen in a video putting Jordan Neely in a chokehold on the floor of F train in Manhattan 10 days ago resulted in his death is expected to be charged and surrender Friday. Sources familiar with the matter tell us News 4 New York. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office told NBC New York that Daniel Perry will be arraigned on charge of second-degree manslaughter. Pernny is expected to turn himself in as early as Friday morning at a lower Manhattan precinct. When not provided additional information until he has been arraigned in Manhattan criminal court, which we expect to take place tomorrow. The spokesman for the DA's office said NBC New York was told that the decision to charge Perry was made by the district attorney's office in consultation with the New York Police Department. A New York Police Department spokesman did not return requests for comment. Pernny's attorneys have also not commented on the imminent charges. They have previously said that their client was protecting himself and others, and there was no way Perry could have foreseen his bid to subdue the supposed perceived threat would turn deadly. His attorneys said he never intended to harm Neely. Neely's family has said that statement amounts to a confession and have been calling for criminal charges. Well, that's interesting. Morning, Trippy Liberty. What's up? The charges will come more than a week, blah, blah, blah. That's basically what the other article says. Witness reported. Okay, so this is, so anyway, witnesses reported that Neely, a homeless man with a lengthy criminal. Notice something that's missing so far, though. Notice how for New York still hasn't described their physical characteristics, as in they haven't made a race line yet. I was looking for the race line. I expected an AP article, but in New York City, they didn't put that in there. That's interesting. Maybe it's lower in the article, but even so, they haven't done it so early because most people stop reading by now. So anyway, the charges, let's see. The charges will come more than a week after Neely's death on May 1st and amid mounting public pressure over accountability following the medical examiner's determination that the cause was a homicide. It wasn't clear if Bragg's office intended to pursue charges against two other people seen restraining Neely in that video or if those people had yet been identified. Now, I would be surprised. Well, no, this is New York and it's Alvin Bragg. I was going to say I'd be surprised if they charged the other two. Because the manslaughter wasn't caused by them in any way. Good morning, Nomad.
Hammer time.
Witnesses reported Neely, a homeless man with a lengthy criminal record and a history of mental illness, was aggressive towards other riders on a train at the Broadway Lafayette station in Soho. He had been shouting at passengers, witnesses said, yelling that he was hungry and didn't care if he died. The 30-year-old had been on a special city homeless watch list, considered a potential risk to himself and others. Jay Pitlon's in the house, too. Witnesses also said Neely hadn't physically attacked anyone before Pernny moved in to subdue him. Pernny was questioned by the NYPD that day and released. Then came the autopsy findings. Multiple protests have taken place in Manhattan since Neely's death, with dozens arrested. Protesters again ratcheted up the volume Thursday, even after learning of the charges said to be coming, because people want to protest shit. They want to break shit. It's almost election season. They got to start now. They got to start getting in the streets so that they can rile up the troops. You know what I mean? We need people to be held accountable for their actions. However, we don't want this just to be about the need to incarcerate this man, said Jawanza James Williams. My brothers and sisters, please stop making up names. The organizing director for Vocal New York. Wait a minute. So here's, listen to this sentence again because it confuses me. So she says, or he, I don't know what Jawanza is. Jawanza James. Oh, must be a he. Jawanza. That's a made up Wakanda name. I'm saying. I'm sorry. Look, my family's African. I know what African names really sound like. That ain't it. Anyway. We need people to be held accountable for their actions. However, we don't want this just to be about the need to incarcerate this man. Okay, what do you want it to be about? You know, how many times do crazies on the subway stab people or pour a bag of rats on them or assault people on the subway? Address that too then, Jawanza. Hello, Woodcutter. Nice to see you. So, some said it has taken too long for the charges to come. It's 10 days too late, said protester Tanisha Grant. Yes, it's some step toward progress, but we've been waiting too long. Why? It's not unusual in a case like this for charges to take some time. Come on. You wait until you have the facts and then you make the charges. You don't just charge somebody immediately without all the facts. And they didn't have all the facts. Earlier this week, Mayor Eric Adams, who had been accused by some of not weighing in substantially enough, formally addressed Neely's death in a public address on Wednesday. The Democrat forcefully declared Neely shouldn't have died while carefully towing the line between acknowledging the loss and the ensuing tensions and appearing to ascribe any sort of responsibility. Now, wait a minute. One of our own is dead, Adams said, emphasizing the emotional intensity coursing through the city over the case. Well, one of our own's dead every day in New York City. There's a day that goes by without a murder in New York City, but I know you never care about that. There's not going to be any protest about that. Now, granted, this is a very different case, but he continues. A black man, black like me, Mayor Adams, no, other than the color of his skin, he's not like you. Okay, you're the mayor of New York. You've been a police chief. You've been whatever. You've been a fully functioning citizen for the longest time, and unfortunately for Jordan Neely, he's made his life as a street before, which is fine. I don't care about that. But as of late, he's been doing no good. Now, that doesn't mean he needs to be choked out on a subway for no reason whatsoever. And we don't know the full effect of this case. But the idea that because he's black, that he's like you means nothing. It's embarrassing that you would even say it. Okay. Good God. Glory Tales of Gore. A man named Jordan, the name I gave my son, a New Yorker who struggled with tragedy, trauma, and mental illness. A man whose last words were a cry for help. A man named Jordan Neely. Really? You know his last words? Maybe they do have video of what his last words were. I don't know. He was demanding money from people on the subway. That's what he was doing. I don't know. So anyway, Neely had multiple arrests for offense. Now, I'm surprised. Again, they have it here too. They're talking about his multiple arrests, which again, I know everyone hates it when I say this, but again, someone could have robbed 7 banks, but doesn't mean they robbed the one that got robbed yesterday. You know, I mean, I know it makes it more likely they might have, but again, there's no way for Daniel Perry to have known this guy's history unless he's seen him attack people on a train before. So every case is different. He had multiple arrests for offenses including assault and disorderly conduct, among others. Oh, they didn't put in the one about the old grandma that he attacked, though. Adams said his death is yet another indication the mental health system needs an overhaul to better protect those who, like Neely, he says, fall through the cracks and disappear in the shadows. Well, you are the mayor of New York. Maybe you can do something about that. On Thursday, Adams again sidestepped when asked his view of whether what happened aboard the subway train was criminal. It is it if this case goes to trial, I don't want to talk about changing venues tainted with the police. Tainted with the police? What does the police have to do with this? Adams said. While addressing Neely's death, the mayor said, "We need to make sure we prevent these things from happening. This is within my span of control." Yeah, bring back the subway cops. That's what you could start with there. That'd be a good start. So anyway, there's another article about this one in this one's in Post Millennial, which is what's his face's what's that dude's name that runs this Post Millennial? Is this who runs Post Millennial? The guy from West Coast in Portland. Andy No? Is that it? Yeah, Andy No. Anyway, so now they have their article now, and they obviously Post Millennial leans right. Update: Manhattan Alvin Bragg's office stated that Daniel Perry will be charged with manslaughter. So now the one thing that people keep saying, that some people were saying, okay, he did this and never did anything to help the guy, and also some people are saying that this guy was moving when they left him. So I hate to show, I'm not even sure we should show the video. But one of the things that the protesters, especially, or the family, have especially said that, well, he did this, they did nothing to help him afterwards. Well, that's not true. So the footage shows that here's where, once they let go, they do try to help recover the guy. They put him in a recovery position. That's really loud, isn't it? Holy shit. Anyway, it's loud to me, probably not loud to you. So, all right, so they let the guy, I'm gonna move to where they let the guy go. Okay, so the other two guys are trying to help make sure they don't hurt him too much, I guess. And then, so it's about a minute so far. As soon as he lets go of him, as the guy's still struggling, I'm just skipping so you can see. So they're putting him in a recovery position, and there's a point where he takes a deep breath. But this is Perry right here. They're saying, oh, Perry didn't help him. Well, Perry was helping move his legs. Watch, Perry will walk in and continue to help try to recover the guy. And everyone around him saying, oh, he'll be all right. Now watch, you'll see right here. He's breathing right there. He takes a deep breath. Breathing in, he takes some breath. So, at the end, he was breathing. That doesn't mean that he's completely recovered. Video. That does not mean he's recovered. Okay, and again, manslaughter 2 is an appropriate charge here. Okay, they have to just be able to determine that this is what causes death, and. You know, it very much could. So anyway, no, not a fentanyl overdose. Come on. Hello, fake news expert and crack shot. No. He was out cold because of the chokehold. And they attempted to recover him. So anyway, if you're interested, I'm only putting this up. There's also going to be a link to Daniel Perry's Give, Send, Go legal defense. I'm interested how they present this too. That's why I brought this up. So here, let me see it, sorry. So they say Daniel Perry is a 24-year-old college student and decorated Marine veteran facing a criminal investigation stemming from him protecting individuals on a New York City subway train from an assailant who later died. Funds are being raised to pay Mr. Perry's legal fees incurred for any criminal charges filed and any future lawsuits that may arise, as well as expenses related to his defense. All contributions are greatly appreciated. Any proceeds collected which exceed those necessary to cover Mr. Pernny's legal defense will be donated to a mental health advocacy group in New York City. So that'll be legally charged. Now there's one thing too, though, is an interesting angle, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the case itself. But so the family, oh my God, she's already raised $244,000. Unbelievable. The family here, who's jumping in and saying this and that, and they didn't do anything for him. They didn't help him when he was, when he was down. Daniel Perry didn't do anything to try to revive him, but which he did. They did try to revive him, and apparently the man was breathing, at least for some short moment. Who knows what kind of brain damage being choked out can do to you too. But anyway, it's interesting though. The family's jumping in here. The family's jumping in. Oh, they should have done this. They should have done that. They should have helped him. They should have helped him. Excuse me, family. I don't want to, I don't want to disparage you while you're in your grief, but where were you? Where were you trying to help him? I'm just curious. And I know that's a little harsh to say, but you have a lot of interest in him now, but where were you when he needed the help? And where was the city when he needed help? Where are these? And I know a lot of places have had to push back or scale back on mental health services, but you got homeless people all over the place that are a lot of just mental health cases, drug cases. What are we doing for that? Why aren't you helping get these people off the street? What do you do? You want to spend, you say, we need to take money from the rich so we can feed all the children in every school, like in my state, By the way, I have a note on that soon too. So anyway, I'm going to move on. The other thing that I wanted to do, and I'll keep this brief because I know this is inside baseball kind of crap that not everyone cares about, but I've had a copyright claim on my channel again. Now, I didn't even realize it because I don't really pay attention that closely to them, but then I've noticed up in my little, and I get the emails, but I barely check the email that this goes to. And so there's a copyright dispute on one of my live streams a while back where I had a clip. Do you remember that clip of Michael Rappaport? Basically, I verbally jerking off about Tucker Carlson losing his job at Fox News. And I was clearly doing commentary on that particular piece of work by Mr. Michael Rappaport. And I got a copyright claim on that stream, which, my streams are about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And I didn't know that. The clip from Twitter. Yes, the clip from Twitter where he was just babbling in the street. He was looking like a homeless guy in the street. And I found it very interesting. And so, I'm going to open this up because I won't play it again just because then they'll do it on this stream. But I thought maybe today I would take the time and read you my response in the dispute section on YouTube, because this is one of the dumbest copyright claims I've ever seen. It's just a video of him talking into his phone on the street in New York City, bitching about, oh, wait a minute, that's not what I do. What did I do there? Let me fix that. Bitching about
Green Apple graphics and video.
What the hell happened here? Shut up. Okay, let's try this again, because I guess maybe I should learn to talk and chew gum at the same time. So I'll read you my response, not by Rappaport himself. Now that's what I was because I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, what? Here's one of the problems of putting a copyright claim on this particular show. Okay. If you know anything about copyright law, this is a news and commentary show. And it doesn't matter I'm talking to 10 people or 10 million people. My show is clearly a news and commentary show. So anything that I do on this show falls within that little area of fair use that you are commentating on particular items. And sometimes even if you use a whole item, I can usually dispute the claims and they go away, right? There's been like 2 times where I've disputed the claim, they escalated it to a copyright strike, and then I escalated it to say, hey, you're idiots, and then they got rid of it. I didn't say it in so many words. So anyway, I'll go on to show you my dashboard here. There's nothing on here that I care about that hurt anybody. So on my dashboard here, you get these notifications right in the middle here. And the second one here is the copyright claim. And here's the option. You go into copyright details and it says, oh wait, that's not the right one. Wait, is this the one? Oh no, they already got rid of it. They already got rid of it. My goodness me. Looks like it's been removed. Okay, never mind. I just did this just before the show too. I had typed it last night. I didn't send. I sent it this morning. So anyway, well, I'm still going to read my brilliance of a response to this particular one. And I do these all the time, and I keep a list of them. And so here's the current one for this one. And I just labeled it Michael Rappaport. And I keep them just so in case I ever need to reference them again. So here's my dispute. And if you're ever going to do a dispute, this might be a way to do it. So, and by the way, the claim was not made by Michael Rappaport himself, but it looked like some kind of management company or whatever. So I said here, this is, you only get so many characters, so I had to cut some of it down. Any moron can, this is what I wrote to YouTube as part of, you're disputing this. Any moron can easily see this fulfills all the requirements for fair use. But if you really want to escalate this, be my guest. I will quickly crowdfund for the court case. It will be hilarious fodder for content for years to come. Now, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes of such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The video clip being claimed is part of a nearly 2-hour news and commentary live show program in which I make original commentary on multiple news items and current events. The clip of Michael Rappaport ranting like a lost homeless man in the street, on which I am clearly doing commentary, is used in a segment of the new and original work commenting on this parody, or whatever it is, and is a completely different use of the clip. The usage is clearly transformative in that it is my original commentary about the clip of a relatively little-known D-list celebrity walking down the street trying to regain relevance by filming himself ranting about Tucker Carlson with clearly no artistic value. But it is worthy of commentary and derision. That clearly, this is not a substitute for the original video segment. My new and original content that includes the claimed work clearly meets the standards of fair use under the U.S. copyright law as news/commentary and parody, and it has no negative effect on the marketability of the original work. In case the claimant decides to pursue this further, I consent to the jurisdiction of the Federal District Court of the district in which my address appears below, and which is located, and I will accept and receive process from the claimant. And then I just doxed myself with that, so I'll have to clip that out of there. But anyway, I am just... I just find it hilarious. This moron tried to copyright claim him ranting into his phone. Unbelievable. So I will have to, I'll have to do that later. I'll do that before I go. So anyway, I find it freaking hilarious that they tried to copyright claim him ranting in the street. All right, let's move on to some actual news now. Couple articles here. One is about San Francisco's doom loop. What is it like to live in a city that no longer believes its problems can be fixed? How long is this? Oh, this is really long. Well, it's not that long, so we'll go through it. I just found it interesting when I saw the title. In the spring of 2019, Mark Beanoff surveyed his kingdom, and it looked good. He stood at the top of the floor of the Salesforce Tower, the tallest building in San Francisco, named after his company, then the largest employer in San Francisco. You could see every part of the city out across the bay, the UCSF, Beanoff Children's Hospital, and the Beanoff Children's Hospital in Oakland, to which Beanoff had donated $250 million. The site of the 200-bed navigation center for the homeless, which Beanoff had defended, In the face of other rich but less rich San Franciscans who tried to fight it off, the city looked sun-kissed and thriving from his view: the elegant Golden Gate Bridge, Twin Peaks, the surreal green of the Marin Headlands. It's cool up there, right? Said Beanoff. And the vibe, are you getting the vibe too? There's like a vibe. There was indeed a vibe. That Friday afternoon, like every Friday afternoon in those days, Salesforce employees and their families promenaded to the top, or Ohana, floor of the building. Ohana means extended family in Hawaiian. Appropriating Hawaiian culture was still considered corporate okay. Drinking the free espresso drinks, marveling at the tremendous views. Team PR team brought him water and a Diet Coke and made sure the big man's chair was not in the sun. You can see that helicopter is about to land with a child going to NICU, he said, pointing to the south of the UCSF Beanoff Children's Hospital. Can you see it? It's just about to land on top of the medical center. There's only one helicopter landing pad in the entire city, and it's on top of the Children's Hospital for kids who have to get to the NICU, which is the neonatal intensive care unit. So that's what just happened. But that was a lifetime ago, before the pandemic, when we were still debating if you could have good billionaires. Oh, gee, were we debating if you could have good billionaires? That's interesting. Since that time, Salesforce has laid off 9,000 employees and ditched nearly 1 million feet of office space. Meta has laid off 2,100 employees and ditched 435,000 feet of office space in San Francisco. Now, late one morning, this dark spring, next to Salesforce Tower, the Salesforce Transit Center, designed by Cesar Pelle's firm and opened in August 2018 to serve the city's main bus hub, was empty, as in truly vacant, save for a security guard in black Dickies and a yellow and black jacket walking in circles on the poppy-tiled floor. A week earlier, the San Francisco Chronicle ran an article, "Cities Are Struggling. San Francisco Could Be the Biggest Doom Loop of All." The phrase doom loop was recently repopularized by Arpit Gupta, a finance professor at New York University, in a paper he wrote last year with 2 Columbia B School professors who called Work from Home and the Office Real Estate Apocalypse, about the consequences for American downtowns of workers remaining remote. The doom loopy vision laid out for downtown San Francisco was not pretty. Workers don't return, offices remain empty, restaurants shutter, transit agencies go bankrupt, tax base plummet, public services disappear. According to research from the University of Toronto, cell phone activity at downtown San Francisco is 32% of pre-pandemic levels. That number is 75% in New York. The night the Chronicle published its doom loop article, Manny's, an event space in the Mission, that's the Mission area of San Francisco, hosted a public discussion on what to do about the death spiral. The panelists tried to sound optimistic. We just need to fix San Francisco's dysfunctional permitting system, where you can't build a free toilet for under $1.9 million. We can find an affordable way to turn some of the office space into housing. We should fund artists and repopulate downtown. Yes, artists will repopulate downtown. Absolutely. That's exactly what's going to happen. 5 days later, Cash App founder Bob Lee was killed. Immediately, people invested in the doom loop narrative started mouthing off. You know where he was killed used to be a good part of San Francisco. Oh, there's good parts of San Francisco? I remember those back in the 70s. Lee's friend Jake Shields told me, as he told anybody who would listen in those first few days, Shields, an MMA fighter who moved to Las Vegas. Lee had moved to Miami. Everyone with brains has left. Never mind the fact that violent crime rates in San Francisco were pretty low, lower than most American cities of comparable size, lower than in San Francisco in years past. San Francisco was a cesspool. That was the Doomer's argument. City leaders, along with the rest of the populace, were too compassionate, like so compassionate that they don't care. The result, according to Shields, was not just an office apocalypse. It was an unmitigated, spiraling, homicidal doom. You can do whatever you want. You can shit in the streets, Shields said. The logical step is to start killing people. What? Damn. You went a little off there. See you later, Special Cat Acid. A woman with smart eyes and dirty sweatshirt, 50-ish, drunk, approached me near the corner of Market and 4th Street. We shared the sidewalk with urban alchemy crews made up of formerly incarcerated people now dedicated to bringing peace and compassion to the streets. Stunned tourists, excuse me, that's Freudian slip. Official San Francisco welcome ambassadors in their orange jacket and young evangelists with microphones and a taste for filibustering. We can die tonight if we die in our sin. If you die in your sin, and if you die in your sin, you seem like an intelligent woman, the drunk woman with smart eyes said. I said, you too. Our whole conversation was a series of understatements. How does it feel to live in San Francisco? You have to deal with people, and people have their own personalities. What's difficult about life in the city? There's a lot of temptation. You have to deal with yourself. How did you end up here? My mother died. She had a stroke. And my father, he had a temper, and he said, yeah, I don't like you. On Margaret, okay. I'm not going to read the rest of this. Is there a point to that? That's what I was about to say, too. I think the point of the novel is San Francisco sucks now, and they don't know what to do about it, so they're just letting things go to shit. They're letting people steal stuff. They're letting people do weird shit. You don't get, the people who commit crimes don't get charged with them, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to leave this article up there if you want to read the rest. It does sound interesting. All right, let's go into something else. Oh, here's a great article. So the city of Baltimore is suing two motor car companies, Hyundai and Kia, because of a massive spike in car thefts. Yes, the city of Baltimore is going to sue the companies that make the cars because people are stealing their cars. Okay. The city of Baltimore has filed a federal lawsuit against car manufacturers Kia and Hyundai, joining a number of cities who say the companies created a public nuisance by making cars that can be easily stolen. Here's a question for you. I wonder what the rate of Hyundais and Kias being stolen in Tokyo. How many Hyundais and Kias do you think are stolen in Tokyo or in Seoul, South Korea? They're suing the car company because their cars are stolen. Okay, because they say they're easy to steal. Yeah, I know. They say they're easy to steal. Does anyone understand why I'm dumbfounded here? So anyway, car thefts in the city have nearly doubled compared to the same time last year, part of a nationwide trend after videos of showing how to easily steal the vehicles racked up millions of views on TikTok. Yeah. So let's see. So somebody put criminal activity on TikTok to show people other people how to do criminal activity. Clearly their moderation has some problems on TikTok, but in American TikTok, they do allow a lot of different things than they do in TikTok in China. Certain Kia or Hyundai models can be stolen using a screwdriver or a USB charging cord. Cleveland, St. Louis, and Seattle are among the other cities that started suing the car company earlier this year. Baltimore's lawsuits say the companies have failed to keep up with industry standards and claim it was a result of business decisions made to reduce costs and boost profits, notwithstanding decades of academic literature and research supporting the deterrent effects of anti-theft technology. You know what the best anti-theft technology is? I mean, for cars especially, teach people not to steal shit. What are you talking about? God, the dramatically increased rates of Hyundai and Kia thefts in Baltimore has required city and police resources that would not have been needed, but for Hyundai's and Kia's deliberate failures. Yes, I'm pretty sure Hyundai and Kia, when they were designing their vehicles, they're like, well, let's see if we can make our cars easier to steal. I'm sure that they deliberately said, we want people to have who buy Hyundais and then have them stolen from them. That's a goal. That's like, what do they call that when they call it what do they call it, that intentional obsolescence or something like that? Oh my God. In February, 54-year-old Alfred, and then they're going to tell people, wait a minute, in February, wait, now wait a minute, in February, 54-year-old Alfred Fincher was killed in East Baltimore after a man driving a stolen Hyundai fled from police. Ran a red light on North Avenue and crashed into another vehicle and then smashed into Fincher, causing a vacant building to come tumbling down on both vehicles. Well, now, clearly, the family of Alfred Fincher should sue Hyundai for making the easily stolen car. They should sue the police department for chasing the recently stolen car, and they should sue the building owner and the architect of the building for making a building that could come crashing down if a car ran in through a house or a building and it fell on somebody. I mean, okay, I know that's a little bit wrong there, but they've hit the jackpot. They got a lot of people they can sue. I'm just saying, the building came tumbling down. And the walls come tumbling down. That's inappropriate, Marty. Okay, so anyway, it's fascinating. So, because you can sue anybody for anything in America. I mean, I get it. They're using more resources because more of these particular cars are being stolen. But can we teach people not to steal cars? That would be the better malfeasance. No, yes, that would be a much better solution. Or I got an idea. How about we put people who steal cars in jail? That would be a nice solution. All right, let's move on because I got a shot chaser thing going on. So we know that that Title 42 thing that was apparently keeping people who were trying to get into our country on one side of the border at least a little bit more than they are now, it was supposed to, it was supposed to end sometime soon or whatever. GDSOB, by the way, hello. And Hig, what's up? Nice to see you. So Title 42, whatever that is expiring, right? And so there's here's a shot chaser, though. Here's a shot chaser. So the Border Patrol chief authorizes release of migrants into the United States without court dates as Title 42 ends. Now, what's funny, I was looking at an article yesterday, and it was a video, where a woman was interviewing somebody who was one of these border crossing people, and she got some papers in her hand about when she was supposed to appear in court, right? A recent migrant, recent illegal border crosser. They caught her, they gave us papers, you got to need a court date, blah, blah, blah. The court date for something happening in 2023, she crossed the border it was in the last few days they showed this. The court date for her to appear, March of 2027. So she could be in the country 4 years, legally, sort of, until March 2027 before she even has a court date. Now, the probability of her showing up for a court date, and the court date was in Dallas. I think they were in Fort Worth or something like that, or El Paso. They were in El Paso. The idea that she's going to show up for a court date in Dallas 4 years from now, what do you think the probabilities are? Just put a number in the chat. Put a number in the chat as a percentage. So between 1 and 100, the probabilities of her showing up in court in Dallas. Oh, you can use 0 too. In Dallas in March of 2027, that she's going to show up in court for her court date. And if she doesn't show up that they'll have a warrant that they'll be able to arrest her because they'll be able to find her. What is the probability of that? 0 to 100%. Put it in the chat. I'm not even putting a poll up. So anyway, so the border chief authorizes release of migrants into the U.S. without court dates as Title 42 ends. That's the shot. Well, here's the chaser. That was at 1:40 p.m. yesterday. At 10:23 p.m. the same day, federal judge blocked Biden administration from releasing migrants without court dates as Title 42 expires. So apparently, a federal judge on Thursday evening blocked the Biden administration from implementing a policy that allows for the release of migrants without court dates just hours away from the end of Title 42 public health order. Judge T. Kent Wetherill, that's got to be a Texan. The second, T. Kent Wetherill the second. Now, the Wetherill's not whatever, but anyway, imposed a 2-week restraining order on the Biden administration policy, which would see migrants released on parole with conditions. The policy outlined in a Border Patrol memo this week, which says that migrants can be allowed into the country on parole, a process typically reversed for urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit if Customs and Borders Protection faces overcrowding. The memo calls for the practice parole with conditions, as migrants are required to make an appointment with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement or request a notice to appear by mail. Where are they going to mail it to? Under parole release, migrants are rapidly released into the country, do not get an alien registration number, and do not receive a court date. So they're completely undocumented. They would be completely undocumented. How would they get jobs and work and eat? I just don't know. Thank you, Jimmy Hotep, for sponsoring the show. First sponsor of the day, which makes you
are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Jimmy Hotep, who says, weaponization of courts puts money in the hands of cities and serves political purposes. They open this door with the gun manufacturers with intent of destroying the industry. They use the courts for false indictments to hammer political opponents, etc. Yes, they do. I agree with you 100% there. Thank you, Jimmy Hotep, for sponsoring the show. So anyway, shot. They're going to let him in without any court dates? Federal judge says, nope. All right, next here. Let's see. From the Des Moines Register, 2 high-profile Iowa Republicans endorsed Ron DeSantis in the 2024 Iowa caucuses. Well, I don't know who any of these people are. 2 high-profile. Let's see. Who are they? Senate President Amy Sinclair and House Majority Leader Matt Winschittel. Oh my gosh, how would you like to be in 3rd grade and have your last name be Windschittel? Is that like a what do they call that when you fart and you shit? Is that like a shart? Windschittel? Are endorsing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' potential presidential bid has returned to the state this weekend ahead of a likely presidential run. So some of the Republicans are going to be endorsing DeSantis, and I'm sure there's a few that are endorsing Trump. We might have an interesting primary for the Republican nomination. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Moving on. What the hell happened here? Why did that do that? My whole thing went dark. All right. Disney, the company that is fighting with Ron DeSantis, apparently has reneged on a meeting with Uyghur genocide victims. Lawmaker says, well, wait a minute. Wait. Is there anybody but me? Am I the only one? Now, Washington Free Beacon. A meeting with Uyghur genocide victims. Anybody? Avocado got it before I even said it. How would you meet with genocide victims? They're dead. I'm like, how do you meet with genocide victims? Okay, let me just see what this article's about. Disney executives reneged on an offer to meet with Uyghur genocide victims. There wouldn't be much of a conversation, which lawmaker says raises concern that the company is kowtowing to the Chinese government. Well, duh. But again, how do you meet with Uyghur genocide victims?
I see dead people.
A group of Uyghurs, their families, and advocates reached out to Disney to discuss the company's friendly relationship with Beijing and its decision to shoot a film in the province where CCP is oppressing the country's Muslim minority. But while Disney initially agreed to meet, the company suddenly cut off the correspondence and have since evaded meetings with victims of the Uyghur genocide.
I see dead people.
According to a Tuesday letter from the lawmakers to Disney CEO Robert Iger, a copy of which was obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. The letter comes as Congress steps up the investigation into American companies willing to cooperate with China. The House Select Committee on China is investigating Nike and Adidas for their reliance on Chinese slave labor. And as the Free Beacon reported, the letter is also the latest political dust-up for Disney, which has been locked in an ongoing battle with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Dear Washington Free Beacon, you cannot meet with genocide victims. You could meet with the oppressed Uyghurs. You could meet with the Uyghurs who have been enslaved and this and that and got escaped or whatever. But I'm sorry, you cannot meet with genocide victims.
I see dead people.
Moving on from, let's see, Outkick. Dwight Howard cowardly walks back, calling Taiwan a country amid Chinese outrage. Oh, no.
Chinese asshole.
Dwight Howard pathetically walked back, calling Taiwan a country because he upset Chinese people. Upset people in China, not the Chinese people, but some people. China has long claimed Taiwan is a territory of the communist nation, but pretty much the whole world recognizes the island nation as a sovereign nation, where whenever anyone famous calls Taiwan a country, it sets off fireworks in China. Well, they are good at making fireworks. Now, come on, they make the best fireworks, right? Anyway, since I've come to Taiwan, I've gained a whole new appreciation of this country. This place makes me feel so much love, and I experience so much hospitality with a friendly and greatly living environment with such a great diverse culture. The former NBR said in a promotional video released earlier this week. Wait a minute. Taiwan's diverse? I mean, maybe they have a different definition of diverse. But it's funny. All diverse means to some people is it's not white. So I understand that. I get it. If you have a whole giant convention of all Mexican conquistadors or whatever they call it, matadors, a whole convention. You have a Mexican matador convention, and everyone there is a Mexican, and they're all matadors. And the white liberal's going to walk into that place and say, "Oh, I love the diversity here," even though they're all white Mexican matadors. You know what I mean? So anyway, he apologized. He said, instead of holding his line, Howard Lee stupidly decided to walk back his 100% correct comment on that Taiwan is a country. Is this the walk back? Let's see what this is.
Okay, here we go, right? Oh, hello everyone. I'm Dwight Howard.
Yes, you are.
Taiwan, I've gained a whole new appreciation.
Okay, never mind. Here's the walk back. Where I'm from, if I say I want to go to the country, it doesn't mean that place is a country. It's just how we talk. If I offended anyone in China, I apologize. It was not my intention to harm anyone with what I said in the commercial. I am not a politician. I don't want to get involved in politics. I have the utmost respect for the Chinese people and utmost respect for the Taiwanese people. So it was never my intent to disrespect nobody. Wait a minute. Now wait it. It was never my intention to disrespect nobody. That means you wanted to disrespect everybody. Okay, I know what he meant, but still. Howard clarified to the press in Taiwan, according to the CNN report. So he walked it back because somebody in China made a phone call. And they said, "Oh, walk that back or we're going to be in trouble." All right. Let's finish up with a few articles that I got when I was perusing Twitter this morning. Now this is okay. I don't need this one. Here we go. So let's start with this one that I got from, oh shoot. Where's the other one? Damn it. All right, hang on. Let's go back to the bookmarks. And I'm going over today because I was late. So let's see. That one I got, because one was from Reuters. One was from Tariq Nasheed, and one was from, I already got the Billboard Chris one. Oh, by the way, Twitter has a new CEO. Did you know that? Oh, that was it. Okay, good. I got it. So, well, this one's, and then there's a video one. That's the one I had. Okay, do I got all of them? 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's start with this one, okay? There has been a hate crime at the University of San Diego. This hate crime at the University of San Diego fits a pattern of many hate crimes. And this is kind of breaking news, but it's also, well, not breaking, it's been a few days, but I'm just going to put this out there so that when we see the result later, we know what happened. So, at the University of San Diego, feces swastikas were found in a residential dorm bathroom. Now, this is Stop Anti-Semitism, who says, we have no words for this vile hate. Now, my experience, especially on college campuses, when you see something like this, well, first of all, I want to know who is exactly had to figure out that this was feces, but that's a whole other question. What's usually the result when you see something like this, right? Okay, what is usually the result? There is a pattern of these being hoaxes or fake. And so I don't know the story yet. I just saw this tweet with the picture up here, and I said, you know what? Let's hang around for a few days and figure out if this is, a college art project or an activist trying to bring awareness to hate by creating a hate hoax. We'll find out. Now, breaking, San Diego Police Department has identified the poop swastika perpetrator as Raj Ganesh of Chula Vista, California. Okay, that's a joke, but you know what I mean? That's what it usually ends up being. It usually ends up being someone who has definitely not done this. This is the people are reacting. This is absolutely appalling and unacceptable. There is no place for hate or bigotry in our society. We must come together to condemn such heinous acts. As a society, we must stand up against hate in all its form. Let us continue to speak out against acts of hate and intolerance and work towards creating a more just and tolerant world. This is definitely going to be a hate hoax. I would guess that if the police or whatever, whoever investigates this kind of shit, no pun intended, at the University of San Diego, I'm going to guess that they're going to find out that the person who found this act of hate is probably also the perpetrator. I think they should say, or I'm sure there's going to be a security camera that the person who was in there or found it, they come out, and they'll just look at the security cameras and find out who the person who came in before them was. And that'll probably be the person who was the perpetrator. I'm just guessing. I'm just spitballing. It happens almost, it's almost like clockwork. You know what I mean? So anyway, also, Reuters put up this tweet in this article it's a very sad story. A 21-year-old sprinter, Halba Diouf, dreamt of running under France's banner in the 2024 Olympic Games. But as a transgender woman, her hopes were dashed when the World Athletic Council banned athletes like her from competing in women's sports. And they have this very, 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 well, it's not that long article. Let's go through it. Because I'm sorry. Okay, I'll get to it in a minute. So, and this person says, we're being hounded. French transgender sprinter decries Olympic ban. The French sprinter, Halba Diouf, feels she's being marginalized and hounded after her dream of participating at next year's Paris Olympics was shattered when World Athletics, that's the council, banned transgender women from elite female competitions. Diouf had been training hard to improve her 200 meters time in the hopes of running on the home soil at the 2024 Games, but her ambitions were dashed in March when governing body from WA banned transgender women who have gone through male puberty from competing in women's events, citing a need to protect the female category. Oh, those terrible people. I can't understand this decision. As a transgender woman, I have always been allowed to compete if their testosterone levels were below a certain threshold, Diouf told Reuters in an interview. The only safeguard transgender women have is their right to live as they wish, and we are being refused that. No, you're not. You just can't compete in this particular competition. You can live your life. You just can't invade a category that is female. That's all it is. And that's something you should have full knowledge of, or at least acceptance of, as a transgender woman. But anyway, I feel marginalized because they are excluding me from competitions. Well, no, this competition. Born in Senegal, Diouf arrived in France at age 4. As an adult, she moved to Aix-en-Provence, or whatever, France, where she started hormone therapy to change her sex. And her gender transition was recognized by French authorities in 2021. So 3 years ago, basically. the transition and whatever. Tighter measures imposed by World Athletics around one of the most contentious and divisive issues in sport, how to balance inclusivity while ensuring there is no unfair advantage, follow a similar move by World Aquatics in 2022. So, and then they have this, they even did a little video of this, like a 3-minute video, which you can watch on here. So, I have an answer to this, that I expressed in a tweet about this. And basically, I'm sorry that someone lied to this otherwise very likely nice person. But just because you changed your aesthetic to that as an image of a woman, you have still naturally developed advantage as a male, which current testosterone levels, whatever they are, will never change. And those who developed as females never had an opportunity to tame those same characteristics naturally. The fact that you have to lower your performance in order to compete fairly defeats the purpose of sports, which is to perform at your highest level possible. So, sorry that people lied to you, that they said it doesn't make any difference, right? Because it does. And unfortunately, you'll not be able to be in the Olympics. And that's just something that you should accept as... Now, if they ever come out with some transgender category, maybe you can run in that. You can still compete as a male because you're still a male, even though your aesthetic is woman. But that's all it is. It's your aesthetic. So, enough of that. Also, let's see, what was the other one? Oh, and this is now Tariq Nasheed. Now it's interesting. Tariq Nasheed. This is Tariq Nasheed, folks, who tweeted this: Black homeless man who defecated on an LGBT pride flag at New York City eatery charged with a hate crime. And apparently he's questioning this, which is interesting because a hate crime, I didn't even think, first of all, I don't like hate crimes. Okay. You're going to get charged more because well, anyway, a man who allegedly defecated on a pride flag at a Manhattan's tapas bar and then drew a smiley face in the disgusting pile has been arrested and slapped with a hate crime charges, cops said Wednesday. Fred Innocent, that's an interesting name, 45, allegedly relieved himself on a pride flag outside Buseo 95's dining shed on West 59th Street and Amsterdam Avenue around 10 a.m. on April 15th. According to authorities, the alleged defecator then took another nearby pride flag and used it to wipe his backside. A stomach-churning video shows. Please don't show the video. Innocent, which is an ironic name, was also charged with burglary and criminal trespass connected to the crime. Now, the burglary and criminal trespass and taking somebody's property and defecating on it, I can see there be a charge for that. A hate crime? Well, who knows why he did it. Workers at the eatery, many of whom identify as largely LGBTQI+. Wait a minute. Many of whom identify as largely LGBTQ+? How do you identify largely? You either are or you're not. Anyway, we're horrified by the gross incident. Well, I'd be horrified by the gross incident without being LGBTQ+, because watching some guy take a dump on anything in the middle of wherever I am and then wiping their ass with another thing in the middle of where I am is disturbing because I don't want to see you take a shit anywhere. But that's just me. So anyway, obviously we thought it was disgusting. Owner Courtney Barrow told the Post last month. Maybe he was homeless and just needed a place to take a dump. You know, they don't have public toilets all the place. So he said, what the hell? I'm going to do it right here. I'm not going to mess up the sidewalk. So I'll cover the sidewalk with an this little rainbow flag. Looks kind of nice. Here, I'll use this. And then I got to wipe my butt. But there's no toilet paper available. There's not a public toilet. So I'm going to go ahead and just wipe my butt with this other one. But still, it's just wrong. I don't want to watch that shit. No, I don't want to see it. Stop it. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. I thought there was a video of it. Holy shit. No pun intended. Anyway, It angered me that people in this world have such hatred for others that they could do something so awful and so vile. Maybe he just had to take a dump. And like I said, no public toilets around. Anyway, all right. Hi, Robert Banks. You came in just at the time. Maybe the flag was missing the brown stripe. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's terrible. Okay, so, but I couldn't figure out. Now, Tariq Nasheed posted that. Hate, because he put hate crime ? Hate crime? That's, well, again, what is hate crime? Cannibalistic Wizard. I'm sorry, I've been ignoring you over there. You've been very busy on the other on the Rumble side. Hello. All right, and the last one I'm going to do today. I mentioned that Twitter has a new CEO, and we might talk about this on Monday too. But she has some interesting past. Oh shoot, what'd I do? She has some interesting past. Things she has said, and I know she's one of these World Economic Forum people, but you know, Elon Musk was at the World Economic Forum too. And I don't necessarily trust Elon Musk about some shit either. But, and again, no pun intended from the last story, I don't necessarily trust Elon Musk on some stuff. But the new CEO, Billboard Chris, who's the guy who does the billboards and about not transitioning children, Twitter's new alleged CEO, Linda Yaccarino, was very excited to spend $100 million on social justice initiatives. This is her from a few years ago. Or I don't know when this is from, but anyway.
You know, things that my company is doing to accelerate, right? To accelerate what we were doing already, but realizing that it wasn't enough. So what immediately started
what are you talking about?
Was that...
you know what? Wait a minute. Okay, hold up. Stop right now. Okay. I'm going to give her some points right here. I'm going to give her points. Look at the background just to the right of her head there. She has a WWE Championship belt. I'm giving her points there. All right, let me finish this up because some of the stuff she has said in the past is bad, but also there's people on the left are pissed because she was on like Trump's something athletics and sports council, whatever. So this is a person who has some different views. Here's my thing before because you're gonna see a lot of the bad stuff she said on the internet. But she still has a boss, even though she's going to be the CEO. Her boss is the owner, and his name Elon Musk. So I hope he's had some conversations with her about what her role is at Twitter, and not to make it her personal, her personal advocacy platform. I hope. But anyway,
under the leadership of Brian Roberts and
she said something here though that we talked about yesterday.
Set up a fund to the value of $100 million
great.
To fight social justice and equality.
Oh,
and
fight it or fight for
supporting many important groups.
Oh,
but
great.
It really made a very public statement that we're going to put our money where our mouth is.
Okay.
We're not going anywhere.
Okay.
And it inspired action across every corner of our company, because what it also did was made the leadership of our company accountable.
Oh, great.
We have this $100 million. What are you doing? What's the update? Where are you with that? But it also
where are you
gave
going with this?
A lot of us opportunity to say, here's our update. How can you help? What do you think we should
Is this
doing,
what you're going to do at Twitter?
Right? So I think it's very exciting. And there's been a lot of exciting, exciting steps of progress.
Here it comes.
Because for a lot of companies,
here it comes.
We needed to take a moment and actually open our aperture. I'll use maybe a TV or a film reference to say, okay, we thought we were doing enough. Clearly we weren't.
What are you talking about,
so
Linda?
Then we had to make sure we were taking the right steps to direct funds towards the right organizations, to make a public statement of accountability, like Cesar Conde, our new chairman of news, who made a public statement that was confronting editorial bias and saying, my division, our news division, the biggest news division in the country, is going to be 50% women and 50% people of color.
Now, there's more going on in more videos, and there's some places where I've heard her speak about things with Elon Musk that we'll get to later, maybe next week. But that line right there, is because she's celebrating this. And like I said yesterday, in order to get more women, have 50% women and 50% people of color, well, first of all, in order to do that, you have to have a pool to choose from. Okay. Now, I'm assuming in the pool of this particular adventure, let's say that every company in America tried to do that. You're going to be all competing for the same pool. Kyle, what's happening? Nice to see you. You're going to all be competing for the same very small pool because, one, are the people who go into this career 50% women? What if the people who go into this career is only 22% women, but your company wants it to be 50% women? Well, you don't have enough people. There's only 22% women who can go into this field. And let's say every company wants to do that. Well, I guess those would be the most highly sought people, but you're not going to get more people to go into this career unless you start at level 1 of the ladder, and that's going to take time. Or if you want 50% people of color, well, what percentage of people of color go into this field? What if there's only 2% people of color who go into this field? Well, those 2% are going to be highly, highly valued and competitive, whatever, but you can only take from what your pool is. And unless you go into all these school districts that aren't graduating anybody with proficient reading and math, there's not enough people. They don't even give people a ladder. The ladder that I was talking about yesterday. You can't just automatically put someone on the top, in the 20th rung of the ladder when you don't have any people who haven't gone to that first rung of the ladder. There's not enough people in the pool to do this in every company in America. So it's not going to happen. Okay. Plus, certain careers, let's say you'd said that for, let's say you said that you want to do that same thing for plumbers, which they'll never say because they're not going to say it. Well, right now, the pool of plumbers is 98% men. But you want to make plumbers 50% of the plumbing workforce. Well, then you better start going into schools and try to get some girls fired up about being plumbers. But, that's one of those physical things that most women don't do. Some do, and I'm not saying not all, but not all. All right? Don't say rung, say echelon. Use big words she doesn't understand plebeian speak. Oh, yes, there you go. So anyway, you're not gonna, I don't like this thinking. You can't, that's why, some of the anti-racist ideas and policies don't work. Affirmative action doesn't work because you don't have a pool of that many people. You can try, but you know what's going to happen? All the kids who grew up in all the black kids who are from the suburbs, hey, they're gonna get free rides to colleges. They're gonna get great jobs. They'll be qualified for them, but they're gonna be the most sought after people on the planet because there's not enough of them to go around. So the only other way to increase diversity is to, lower standards, and companies don't necessarily do that, or people who get in with lower standards weed themselves out very quickly. So this is crazy talk. That's all I'm going to say about this today because I'm way late. But anyway, we'll talk about the new Twitter CEO next week, hopefully, if I remember, or if there'll be news about it. A lot of people are talking about this. There is one other, here's 46 seconds of her, though. This is her talking during COVID. You're going to love this one. Let's put this back on. Here she is talking during COVID.
Hey, everybody. Linda Yaccarino here, class of 1980. We're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about masking up or packing up. I promise you, we're doing good so far. Just keep your distance, get your hands washed often, get tested often, and wear your mask. That'll get us closer and closer to normal days. We are resilient. We are tough. Keep doing it. And we'll be back at Beaver Stadium before you know it. Mask up or pack up.
Okay, now, to be fair, a great large part of the country were told that these were the things you had to do, and I don't know when she did this. So, Class of 80 probably graduated, but I don't know if she's that old. She didn't look that old to be Class of 80. But anyway, so it's hard to falter not knowing what, not knowing complete background behind that statement. But there's also other ones. Let's see, how's this? This one's minute 8. We'll do one more because this is from when asked about the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion in the workplace. Linda Yaccarino cites the CEO of BlackRock. It says companies have a responsibility to impact culture. This is the kind of scary talk I don't like.
Before the pandemic, before the awful social crisis, and he talked about calling CEOs to attention, right, all over the world, that companies in the private sector had a bigger responsibility to both their employees and their customers to fulfill a gap in society that it was once assumed that the government would provide for.
That's
so
weird.
It was a call, you used the word to service. I would say it was also called to purpose, right? So we had a responsibility to impact culture for the good. And the bottom line is, when you have those priorities and values as a company, it's good for business. It inspires your employee population to want to be proud. They're proud to work at your company. They bring other good people to your company. But it's also good for the bottom line.
Okay. That's a weird answer for that to me. But again, I don't know the full context. So I see people pulling out clips. But if you think about like how Ella Irwin has fared at Twitter since Elon Musk has taken over, Ella Irwin has so far followed the wishes of Elon Musk. You don't see, at least it seems that way. So we'll see. Real quick, thank you. This is Kyle. Appreciate it. Drop it a 5 in the tip jar. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Said I met one girl that did construction. Only the one, though. It's almost like certain demographics don't want to work certain jobs. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sponsoring the show, Kyle. I got to go. I'm way behind. So you know all the stuff to do. Please do it. And hope you all have a great weekend. Maybe who knows what we're doing this. Well, we know what we're doing. It's Mother's Day and we're gardening tomorrow. So have a great weekend. Bye, guys. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.